Welcome to Growing Up Boomer. I'm your host, Padre, with my co-host, Professor. And this podcast is dedicated to the life and times of the baby boomer generation. The show is loosely scripted, and sometimes we'll go down rabbit holes, and where it leads us to, one will never know. This podcast can be informative, funny, and sometimes irreverent. But most of all, we hope you find it entertaining. Hey, Professor, how you going?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm just so full of luck. I'm so lucky. I'm like a bald guy who won a comb.
All right, let me hear it. What happened?
Nothing. I just read that, saw that once. I said, I like that one because you can tell. So there you go. Okay. If I win a comb, what do I care, right?
I resemble that remark.
I resemble that remark. You got it. Yeah. No, I'm doing fine. Weather's been great, hot. So, getting it back out on the Vespa, getting a little open air riding going on. So, yeah, things are good. So, Jackie calls me just actually about 30 minutes ago and said, go stand out on the front lawn. And I did. And I see my car coming up the street going very slowly. And then I realized it's my great nephew driving for the first time. He just got his learner's permit. It's kind of like, oh, watch out, everybody. No, it was great. So, yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Oh, by the way, I want to let you know I have a quick movie review for you.
Oh, okay.
And it's one that you saw the other week, Mission Impossible.
Ah, yes, Mission Impossible. Yes.
All right. Now,
okay.
For those listeners or viewers that don't want to know about Mission Impossible and you're going to see it, turn it down for about a minute. Turn the volume down for about a minute.
Oh, it's going to take you that long to review it?
I'm afraid so. All right. Now,
okay.
What you did not tell me was that the impossible mission is not trying to fall asleep during the movie.
Oh, I see. I didn't have a problem falling asleep at all.
Oh.
In fact, it's a long movie, and you know what? It's a long movie, and no, I didn't fall asleep. It's a long movie, and I don't remember thinking in my mind, this is kind of long until right near the end. So, it kind of kept my attention.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you this. It is probably my least favorite Mission Impossibles, and I have them all, and I love them all.
Okay, well, they can't all be your favorite.
Oh, no. Yeah, but you know what? I enjoyed all of them, especially because this one goes back to Rogue Nation. So Rogue Nation, and then you go into the part one, all excellent. This one, I don't know what happened. All I know is Tom Cruise is running all the time.
Yeah, he's running all the time.
I love Tom Cruise's movies.
Yeah, well, most of those Mission Impossibles, he's running at some point, running to something or running from something.
Okay. All right. You know what? I am sure he's running because he's trying to show us at 60, what is he, 64, he can still run.
Well, that's exciting. He probably is doing that.
I knew at 65 I was done. I don't know if I ever told you the story, all righty? But I was playing baseball.
Okay.
And when I play baseball, we used to play in the softball adult league.
Sure.
When you play baseball, I always tell everybody, you get a good rover, but you always kind of play shallow in the outfield because nobody ever gets it far. And if you've got a good rover, he can catch the ball.
Right.
Well, here comes this one guy comes up. He gets hold of the ball, right? Now it's going to fall between me and the rover. So I am running, and I got visions of Willie Mays over the shoulder catch, spinning around and throwing it. Well, all of a sudden, about halfway looking at the ball, I can't feel my legs. I mean, it's like, and then all of a sudden, I'm like the Fantastic Four guy, Dr. Reeves, the stretching guy, and the legs are going everywhere, and I go under the ground, right? And I go, oh yeah, I hit a little a hole here, and I tripped. I was done. I said,
Okay.
no more running. I am done. I'm not playing baseball, basketball, nothing.
Wow.
You know?
Interesting.
But,
It got you good.
but you know what? The other thing that bothered me, the minority gets killed in this one.
Okay.
All right. The only thing that could have saved him is if they would have had a Mexican on the team. They would have killed him first. Think about it. I mean, cellular with Jason Statham, the first
Yeah.
person to go is Rosa, the housekeeper.
Yeah.
Comes in, boom, shoot her. The War
Yeah.
of the Worlds, 1853. The guy's going, ah, we're friends, and they blast him. All right. I mean, that's the only thing that could have saved that guy.
Oh, you
Uh,
kill me. You're hysterical. You're funny. I
all
thought it was
right.
entertaining. I thought it was a typical Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie. Lots of action and unbelievable stunts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, you're
and the plot. I mean, what plot? I mean, there's a plot, but it's yeah. Anyway, well, at least
yeah.
you got to see it on the big screen, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But,
Okay, there
and
you go.
I end up in the household. But the thing is, I have to ask Tom Cruise to at least make one more. He's got to make one more
Well, supposedly
because
this is his last one.
cannot end Mission Impossible like this.
Well, supposedly it's his last one, but we'll see.
He's got to make one more because he's got to end at the top. He cannot end like this.
All
Oh,
right. Well, pass the word.
well, you know what? We were going to do this week, if you remember, we're going to finish part 2 of 1955, The Way We Were.
Yep.
But, we've been talking over the weekend, and we lost a music icon by the name of Sly Stone from Sly and the Family Stone.
Yep.
And I thought maybe you and I could do a tribute to him because I know he was very influential in the music business, and we both loved his music.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And you were at Woodstock.
I was at Woodstock, and you're going to ask me if I saw him. And
Yes,
no, he played like at 3:00 on Sunday morning, and we did not stay for Sunday. I don't remember why, and I don't remember when we left exactly. I don't know if we left Saturday night, okay, or we left Sunday morning. But regardless, no, I did not see him, which is too bad because I've never did get to see him in concert. And it's interesting because he was right where we lived. And I think trying to think he was down south for a while, but his sister, he was born, by the way, he's Sylvester Stewart was his actual birth name. And do you know how we got the nickname Sly?
No.
Oh, well, in 5th grade, I guess one of his 5th grade classmates misspelled his name Slyvester. Okay. And so he kind of picked it up from there. But yeah, he was born in Texas, but he grew up in Vallejo, which is right next to Benicia, which is where you live and where I live from 30 some odd years. And so, yeah, he was a native. So, yeah, grew up there. He was, he's going to be missed, no doubt about it. He grew up in a pretty religious family. His father ran a janitorial business. And he was also a deacon in a church. His mother helped form put their 5 children into a gospel ensemble. So he got his kind of start in gospel music at church. And he was the second child. I don't know if you know that, and I guess originally he formed the Stewart Four with his brother Fred, his sister Rose and Vieta, and then Loretta, the oldest, she played piano. Did you ever hear the Viscanes?
No, I did not.
He actually joined. It was a doo-wop group that he joined. Okay, called the Viscanes, and he studied at the Vallejo Junior College, which is now Solano Community College. Don't know if you knew that. So, yeah, but he, had one heck of a career. I mean, he had a lot of high spots, but he had some really low spots, which I know we'll get into, to say the least. And probably some of that killed him, in the long run. But I guess in '64 is when he first signed with a record company, Autumn Records, and there's a lot of he produced a lot also, and but he also worked with he worked on records not so much singing, but worked on records with bands like the Great Society, which was Grace Slick and later Jefferson Airplane, and the Warlocks. And you know who the Warlocks turned into? Grateful
No.
Dead.
Oh,
So
that's
he worked
right.
on, that's right, huh? And then he also worked for quite a number of years as a disc jockey on AM stations in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in fact, I remember hearing him on the stations, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe not. I'm not sure. No, maybe not. No, I'm thinking of somebody else. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, but his style, I mean, was just he was a character. You know, he had
Right. Right.
I guess he had a Jaguar XKE that he painted candy purple, and he wore clothes to match. And I remember seeing pictures of that. And you know, when he was young, he was so eccentric in his clothing, okay, and his dress, and way out there and glitzed up and so on. He was
Mhm.
he was like an Elton John of soul, earlier than Elton. Well, no, actually, I was around the same time period too. So, and
Mhm.
incredible. So yeah. So I mean, that's a
Yeah.
little bit of background. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. He was quite the. I guess he was a music prodigy very young in life. I mean, he played the keyboards, guitar,
yep,
bass guitar,
yep,
harmonica. Had a
yep,
strong,
yep,
strong voice, just like
yep.
his sister. An unbelievable
Mm-hmm,
voice. I
mm-hmm,
mean,
mm-hmm.
it was said that when he did gospel as a young child, if he didn't get a reaction from the crowd, he would cry.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
I guess if he didn't get the amens or whatever, I mean, he really took it serious when he was up there singing. And he
Yeah,
wanted you could hear it in his songs. He always looking for approval from other people. And finally, when he's writing his songs, it's finally saying that, you know what, you've got to please yourself. You got to be who you are.
yeah,
But it was
yeah,
only real tough for him early in life.
yeah.
That's what
I think it was somewhere at 66. I think he had his own group, and his brother Freddie had a band, and that's how they ended up forming Sly and the Family Stone, which was racially integrated and mixed gender, which was kind of like not the norm for the time. So
correct.
they kind of broke barriers that way too. So
Mhm.
yeah, but
Yeah.
some of their hits, I mean, dance to the music. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I wanna take you high. Yeah, great songs, man. Just make you
Well, the
dance and want to sing and
yeah.
go.
Well, the other thing about their music as well is what they had also mixed in was the horns, the
Huh,
brass.
that's right.
I
That's
mean, there was
right.
no group at this time. There was groups that were playing brass, but they were always studio groups. In other words, they weren't the touring groups that they had. For instance, I mean,
Ooh.
a lot of the groups would use brass in their songs, but it wasn't integrated as far as a group was concerned. They would use studio.
Um,
This was
yeah.
this was before Chicago, before Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Well,
I
I
mean,
was going to
they.
say that was right around the time of Blood, Sweat, and Tears, because I saw them in college in 1960. Well, let's see, 66. It was probably 1967. Okay, I saw them at Farmingdale on Long Island.
Yeah,
Blood, Sweat, and
yeah,
Tears. Of course, that's all
right,
pretty much all brass, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I mean,
But
they,
you're right. Bands, regular, typical bands with
yeah,
bass guitar, rhythm guitar, and drums. Okay,
mhm,
didn't have horns, but it was
yeah,
different.
yeah.
Yep.
The other thing about this is that I've always got my kids involved in my music, not intentionally. Okay.
Okay.
Fact of the matter is that Jonathan and Jenny love Sly and the Family Stone because I would
Okay.
play the record here, and because of the brass, and they were in band and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, 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 you know that.
I know.
What happened is that she also turned her friends on to Sly and the Family Stone,
Hmm.
and Sly Stone passed away.
Hmm.
Her friend called her because she got him involved. She says, "Oh my goodness, Sly Stone passed away." She said, "I remember when you used to tell us they have to listen to the music," and they loved it. She loved
Who was
it.
that?
Yeah. The other one was like my son Travis, The
Uh-huh.
Doors. That's his music.
Ah, yeah. Yep.
You know,
I
Doors. I
like the
mean, he's
Doors. I did. Yeah.
got the LA Woman. He's got
Oh
the
yeah.
LA Woman album that has the depiction of Jim Morrison on the crucifixion on the
Yep.
inside jacket,
Hmm.
which is very, you know.
Hmm.
So, but I mean, I
Yep.
heard my kids, and then Jonathan tried to get me with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
He brings this album home, and he says, "Dad, I want you to listen to this." I said, okay. He's playing it, playing it, playing it. What do you think? Because, you know, he's trying to get a rise out of me here. You know,
Oh
he's
yeah. Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
get,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, what's this garbage? And I go, yeah, it's all right. Says it because it's Marilyn Manson. I said, no, because I've heard it before. What do you mean? I got out my Black Sabbath albums. I played, I played War Pigs and Children of the Grey.
Hmm.
You
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
know, he's going like, oh, yeah, I heard it all before.
So you're telling me he was trying to get an Ariza out of you?
Oh yeah, hey, that's good. I like that. So you know, he was, but yeah. So there are a lot of the music. So I've listened to all kinds of different type of music, but his music, what I really liked about it, and I think you mentioned it, it was socially driven. In other words, a
Yeah.
lot of his songs had basically social messaging behind it.
Yep.
You know,
Hmm.
where everybody is talking about, what do I want to say, anti-war. He's talking about racism. He's talking
No.
about getting along with
Yes.
each other. I mean,
Yes.
he was
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah. There
You
was a
know,
song. I don't remember which one that was talking about. He was talking about Whitey and Whitey this or something like that. I don't remember which song it was,
it
but
was yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think it was said that I guess it's been said that James Brown may have invented funk, but Sly perfected it. And
mhm,
yeah, yeah, pretty good. He was
yeah,
like the founder of progressive soul. So
yeah,
yeah,
and yeah, the, yeah. And the thing, the way he wrote the music, I mean, sometimes it was almost like childlike joy. You know, I mean,
hmm
almost like poetry rhythm cadences, but
hmm
yet it expressed adult truths. That's what
hmm
made it so good. You know,
yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
everybody's a star.
yeah.
Very, very simple, but yet very
Hmm.
complex. I
Hmm.
mean, when he's talking the
Hmm.
music, what's the other one? One of my favorites, Everyday People.
Yeah, everyday people. Great song.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
excellent song. Stan.
yeah.
We're
Stand, well,
always,
stand, absolutely. Yep, yep.
yeah. You know,
Dance to the music. Yep.
yeah. Family Affair.
Family. It's a family affair. It's a
That one was
family affair.
really, he's really deep, diving deep into his soul on that one.
Oh yeah.
That one is very, very dark song when you really look at the underlaying. That's a very, very dark song. But
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
thought the
Hmm.
group was excellent.
Yeah.
You know, I like the guitar player was Frederick Jerome Stewart, who
Okay.
also
Hmm.
grew up in Vallejo. Was born in Vallejo.
Oh
He was
yeah.
born in.
Well, there was band members from the local area. Yeah, aside from his, sister.
Well, let me put it this way: he was expelled from Vallejo for fighting. Vallejo High School. Guess where he attended? Benicia High.
Where he?
Benicia High
Did
School.
he? Did he really?
Yeah, yeah, because he got suspended from Vallejo High School for fighting.
Huh. Wow. I thought I would have known that, but I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
and he was MVP of the basketball team.
Oh, okay. There you go. Okay.
And then that's what we're talking about. Then they moved to San Francisco, and that's where he ended up with Sly. Now get this. This is it. In 1994, he became a pastor.
Okay.
Yeah, and he is preaching up in Vallejo, the Evangelical Temple Fellowship Center, which is located in Sonoma Boulevard.
Yep.
You know, so I may have to attend that church once just to see, hey, is he
There
still
you
here?
go. Okay. Maybe.
And you talk about
Yeah.
Rosemary Stone Stewart as well.
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
And she's still alive. She's
Yes.
still alive. She's 80 years old, still alive. But you know, she was
Why
the
am I?
she also,
Why am I thinking that some it was sister? I think so. I thought his sister was still living in Vallejo up until not all that long ago.
I
Um,
I do
Trying to think
not
of. I mean,
know. Yeah, I do
yeah,
not know. I don't know where she's living, but I do know that yeah, she had the powerful voice. She also played
yep,
piano. She also played
yep,
piano, right?
yep.
And she's done some songs, some appearances like with Michael Jackson, background singing for Michael Jackson in the studio, Ringo Starr.
Uh-huh.
So you know, I mean, and then she's done some gospel on her own, and
Sure.
she did one of the praises. She did an old hymn called "Power in the Blood." You
Okay.
know, and so I mean, she was just awesome. I mean, just a great voice. Larry Graham Jr. bass and vocals. Did you like him? I had that deep, deep voice.
Oh, deep, deep voice. Yeah. No matter how low I try to go, I can't go low.
What was that one song? I'm gonna add some baritone for those who die just to book my own heart. And he comes in with the bass. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, he had that really, really deep voice. You know, and
Yeah.
he also played with what's his name? Miles Davis.
Miles Davis. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Miles Davis. He played with a bunch of different people. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Tower of Power, the Pointer
Hmm.
Sisters. And there
Uh-huh.
was a very, very big R&B artist called Betty Davis, not the Betty
Not the Betty
Davis.
Davis. Right.
Yes. But yeah, no, yeah. So he was very, and get this. I believe this is urban legend. I
Okay.
okay. He was kicked out of the band, I think, in '73 because him and Sly got into it, punching. I mean, just really
O-
got into it.
Okay.
It was said he took out a contract on Sly Stone.
Oh, geez. Well,
That's got to be urban legend.
it's probably an urban legend. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if he did, it wasn't very successful.
or,
It didn't work.
or yeah. But in 1975, he converted to Jehovah's Witness, and it is said that he was very influential with Prince. They got him to convert to
Mm-hmm.
Jehovah's Witness. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. I think in 73, um,
mhm.
actually, Bob Marley and the Wailers opened for Sly and the Family Stone when on
Ooh,
tour, when they went on tour.
oh
So,
wow.
and I'm not sure if you mentioned it or not, or if it came up. He didn't have a whole lot of, well, number ones, but Stan did become number one. Stan in 1969, it was a runaway success. It sold 3 million copies and was a number one hit single.
Mhm. Yeah, because I knew
So,
it was everybody's a star. I knew that everyday people, and I knew
there,
that. Let me see here. Wait, don't tell me. Family
I won't.
Affair. I mean, those were number one. I didn't know about
Okay.
the.
And the others in top five, Hot Fun in the Summertime was, and Thank
Yeah,
You. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
mhm,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So he had a lot
yeah,
of success, a lot of
mhm,
success. And then I
yeah,
guess in the early 70s, things started to change.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing
And
was
you,
that. Mhm. Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to say was that I think they would have had a lot more number one hits if they weren't in the '60s, because you had the Beatles, you had the Stones, you had Led Zeppelin, you had the Hollies, you had all of these commercially successful bands
no
going, and
competition. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
No
and they were
competition.
doing some alternative stuff.
I
They
know.
were
Yeah.
doing some alternative stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they kind of get in every. Yeah. So I mean, actually, his life changed after he moved to LA, because he moved to LA
mhm,
in '69, and that's when they started to get into drugs and
mhm,
cocaine and PCP. And
mhm,
so yeah, he apparently had said that he had a violin case and he carried drugs with him all over the place. And so it really affected him big time. So yeah,
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 oh yeah,
too bad.
that's sad. That's really sad.
Really
But
sad. Yeah.
I mean, because he was just. I wonder what he would have been like if he hadn't got into drugs, because he was into drugs pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Very, very heavy. Very, very heavy. But yeah, so yeah, and I think the only other artist that has passed away is let me think here. It's Cynthia, what's her name? Cynthia Robinson. Cynthia Robinson passed away. She passed away in 2015. The trumpet
Okay.
player. If you
Okay.
remember Dance to the Music?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. Dance
Yeah.
to the music. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
He says, yeah. Cynthia on the run. Da, 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 da. Oh man, she could play the horn. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Good
Oh,
stuff.
oh,
When he went out to LA, he went, his girlfriend was Deborah King, who became
mhm.
Deborah Santana, wife of Carlos Santana,
Yeah,
until they got divorced a few years later. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I think
Yeah.
he's the only one. Then there was what's his name? Part of the band was Gerald Martini, and
Yeah.
then
Okay.
or yeah, Jerry Martini, and then Greg. What was his name? Enrico. Greg
Hmm.
Enrico, who played the drums
Okay.
for him, but he played a lot of. I mean, he was with David Bowie, his band
Okay.
during the
Hmm.
Dog tour. You know, I mean, he played with Santana, the Grateful Dead. I
Uh-huh.
mean, so he was with a lot of
Oh,
those
yeah.
groups.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, he got some awards and stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Rock and, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I think it would be, and and it's always tough to get the younger generation to listen to some of these musics because let's be honest, when you're growing up as a teenager, especially when you're just turned 13 or 14, there's only two things you own, and that's your music and that's your language. That's it. You own nothing
Hmm.
else.
Hmm.
So it's hard to get them to listen to some of this music that is very eventful, I thought, for us during that time.
Hmm.
Like we talked about everyday people, in which case it's kind of like different strokes for different folks.
Hmm.
That's the other.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I love the way he starts off the song. It says, "Sometimes I'm right, but I can be wrong. My beliefs are in my song." Of course, it
Hmm.
sounds much better when you're singing it.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. Yeah. Got a melody.
Yeah, what is going? Sometimes I'm right, but I can be wrong. My
Yeah.
own beliefs are in my song. Bum bum. See, just
Yeah.
very. It's always good. And then that
Yeah.
always just basically, hey, there's different people, different colors, different body. Remember, he goes down and he says, the baker, the drummer, right? Makes
Uh-huh.
no difference group I'm in.
Right. Right.
There's the blue one who can't accept the green one for living with the fat one, trying to be a skinny one. Different,
Right.
different folks. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he's doing the whole thing about who everybody is different. Everyone
Yep.
has their own idea, different strokes, I mean, the
Yep.
phrase
Yep.
itself, everybody thinks differently, and
Yep.
everybody does things differently. And that's
Yep.
sometimes it's hard for us to accept. We
Yeah.
believe that everyone should think like us,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. But, oh
Yeah.
yeah. So it was
Yeah.
that was one of my favorites. One by far, one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah. It was, I guess, you know, I guess after 1970, the live
Mhm.
booking kind of dropped a lot because a lot of promoters were afraid that one or two band members might miss the gig, refuse to play, or pass out. And they actually became a regular thing. And I guess in 1970, 26 out of 80 concerts were canceled. Others just started late. I guess there was one of them that he started and said, I got to go to the bathroom, never came back. So, yeah, it's really too bad, because if he had kind of say, if the drugs didn't get him, just think about
Mhm.
all the other stuff that, the tunes and other insightful songs that he would be able to put together and write. So it's sad, but he certainly left a great legacy of music.
Oh yeah, he certainly did. He certainly
Yeah.
did. You talked about the song "Stand."
Hmm.
You know, in the end, you'll still be you, one that's done all the things you set out to do.
Hmm.
So in other words, you stand for what you believe in.
Sure.
Even if others don't agree, at least you could say, I stood up for what I believed in.
Uh-huh.
Basically what he's saying is just because everybody believes something is right doesn't make it right. And if
That's for
everybody believes
sure.
something is wrong, doesn't make it wrong.
Yep.
you know. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, so you need to stand up for what was right. And then that was the
Hmm.
one stand. There's a cross for you to bear, things to
Hmm.
go through if you're going anywhere.
Hmm.
Not life doesn't come easy.
Yep.
And that's a lot of what we don't. Us as baby boomers. What was our always mantra? Life is tough, and then you die.
Life is tough and then you die. Yep. Hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, ain't nobody gonna give you anything. It's just
Nope.
you gotta fight for it, and that's it. But
Nope. Nope.
maybe that is not something we should be proud of. But I mean, that's how we grew up. Life is
Yeah.
tough. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody gonna hand you anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
And then right
yeah.
after that, for the things are right, it's the truth that the truth makes you uptight. So basically,
Hmm.
he's kind of saying that either the leaders or people, when you speak up and it's the truth, the absolute truth will make people upset. And that was kind of like his
Certainly
anti-war
can.
type. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was an awesome song for me. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You know.
He sang with
Oh,
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay. He sang with them. He was on the
yeah.
song Good Time, and that was in 1990. Um, let's see. What else did he do? Well, he had a lot of lead vocals with Bobby Womack. And yeah, yeah, just a lot of stuff. I don't know if you heard, but I guess he and in '95, I guess he was had a landlord, an ex-landlord, who accused him of thrashing the Beverly Hills mansion that this guy rented to him in '93. He found the bathroom smeared with gold paint and marble floors blackened and windows broken, and a gaunt stone emerging from a guest house to say, "You're spying on me." Anyway, just he he did what he wanted to do. He
Yeah.
certainly would throw his parties. I get in 1993, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. He showed up on stage to be entered into the hall, but I guess I don't know. He just whatever. He just kind of did things differently. He really just did. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He was an interesting cat, but yeah, I just like I said, some of his songs were just to me were just not only unbelievable but very very touching. And you
Hmm.
relate to it like a family affair. When
Yeah,
he says
no.
one child grows up to be someone that just loves to learn, and another child grows up to be someone you just love to burn. Now,
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
what he's saying there is that when he talks about somebody you just love to burn, is likely he's giving the nod that how society used to frown on integrated families. If
Hmm.
you remember, that was taboo back then.
Hmm. 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 Yep,
Right? You've got those
yep,
that you love, the ones you love, and the ones but he says, but the mom loves them both. Yes,
yeah,
you see, it's in the blood. Both kids are good to the mom. Blood's thicker than mud.
yep, yep.
Yeah, so yeah,
It is.
he
Yeah,
was,
yep, yeah,
so, but
yeah.
yeah, and then he
Well,
goes, but you were crying any what caused that you were all broke down. And basically, what he's saying there is back in the day when you were growing up, a man did not cry because it showed weakness.
yeah,
But
that's right.
and you know what? But that's not always true.
He kind of lost it, and he ended up just basically losing everything.
Yeah.
And I guess there was a whole dispute over royalty payments and so on that he had
Mhm.
with his former manager. He was actually homeless and living out of a white camper for a while. So and he sued Goldstein, this guy, for $50 million, and he won, but in appeals court, he turned it around. and said he had actually signed away his rights to all of that. So he, yeah, he just, yeah, he was successful in some ways and obviously not in others. So
You know who owns the rights to his music now?
I do not.
The Michael Jackson estate.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because
Okay.
what had happened was that remember when Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney were singing, they were doing duets together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, what happened? Paul McCartney told Michael Jackson, "You need to buy music. You need to buy the rights to the music because that's where the money is." Except he meant for Michael Jackson to buy his music. He ended up buying the Beatles' music.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Trying to make a deal to get the Beatles' music, right? Michael Jackson comes in and swoops it.
Well, you know what? Okay. Whichever of those that he ended up with, he ended up well.
Yeah.
In the money. Either one of those ended up in the money.
Yeah. So, you know, they're always like, okay. But
Yeah.
you have anything else on Sly Stone?
I'm trying to think. No, he just tried to remake himself through the years. You know, basically he was kind of pretty much done. Okay, in the late tens. You know, in the first decade, if you will, of the 20th century, he was pretty much done by 2010, as far as music and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll be ending this one with some of his quotes. How's that?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. First quote: "Don't hate the black. Don't hate the white. If you get bit, just hate the bite."
Good one.
Okay. "You make it if you try. Push a little harder. Think a little deeper."
Okay.
Okay. "Stand when you stand. You've been sitting too long. There's a permanent crease in your right or wrong."
Okay, another good one.
Yeah. "It's not the teaching, it's the learning." No. "My only weapon is my pen. I'm a songwriter." Okay. "Sunday school don't make you cool forever." Okay. "Was on my last leg. I couldn't even borrow a friend's extra peg." Peg leg, I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah. Yes.
"Time needs another minute."
Okay.
And here's the last one. I like my small camper. I just don't want to return to a fixed home. I can't stand being in one place. I must keep moving." Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note, what do you say we end this one, Professor?
Okay. I think we covered Sly, and listeners will have a good background on him. So that's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And if they want to really get into it, I think they need to watch his performance at Woodstock, the movie, because he did 10 songs. They only featured one, which is "I Want to Take You Higher."
Right.
Remember, if you've seen the movie, he gets the crowd going with him. He says, "I want
They're
to take
all
you higher."
everyone's saying higher. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I love the way he gets the crowd. He says, "I want to do something a little old fashioned." And he's talking about the sing along. He says, "But you know what? It may be old fashioned, but it's fashion." So yeah. If anybody can see that part from Woodstock, you can probably YouTube it. Listen to some of his music. I mean, they're very thought provoking. And I'm telling you, I mean, once you listen to the beat, to the horns, to the guitar, you'll fall in love with his music.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. So we end this one, buddy.
We'll do it and catch you later.
All right, my man. Have a great one, okay?
Yeah, you too. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
We'd like to thank you for listening and remind you, if you happen to have any baby boomer topics you'd like us to cover, just email us at growingupboomer@gmail.com. And until next time, may God bless.